Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Scott Kumler, team leader, coach, and host of the podcast where we break down the real stories behind the agents who are absolutely dominating in today's market. And today, oh man, buckle up because you're about to meet someone who took a completely free strategy, something every agent has access to, and turned it into over 75 million in closed sales. I'm talking about the one and only John Michael Perez. John built his entire business using Facebook groups, not paid ads, not cold calling, not some complicated system, just groups. But the way he does it, the psychology behind the post, the way he positions himself as the go-to expert inside these communities, it's next level. In this episode, John breaks down his 2-hour protocol for these groups, how he builds relationships by adding value, how he handles DM conversations that convert, and the exact step any agent can take to replicate the strategy in their own market. If you're an agent who wants to attract clients instead of chasing them, you're going to want to watch this one all the way through. And hey, if this episode sparks ideas and you want to explore what a partnership looks like with me or my organization, feel free to call or text me at 623-387-2688, or you can schedule a Zoom meeting with my calendar link below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on for notifications so you don't miss more interviews just like this. All right, let's get going. Here's my conversation with John Michael Perez. All right, guys, super pumped today to have John Michael Perez on the podcast. John, welcome to the podcast.
So excited to be here, Scott.
Awesome, awesome. And so, as always, like with most of my guests, I'm always kind of curious on actually your journey into real estate. What you did before real estate, and then kind of what made you decide to get into real estate. So, I just kind of want to give the viewers kind of like your backstory and what you did before real estate and what got you into it.
Yeah, so funny story. I was actually in a heavy metal band for about 8 years before I got into real estate. And during that time, I was actually waiting tables as well. So we would go tour all over the United States, come back, wait tables. And honestly, it was just a monotonous cycle to where I was really getting tired of, hey, my name's John. What would you like to drink? Dr. Pepper, Sprite, sweet tea. Okay, cool. I'll be right back with your appetizers. And eventually, on a whim, I quit my job. And it's because I Googled how to become a millionaire. And the third option on Google was real estate. And I
Hmm.
remember back when I was about 8 years old, no, probably a little older, 9 or 10 years old, a friend of mine used to always take us out to eat. And his dad used to always pay for our food. And his dad was a real estate agent. And so that always connected with me. And, um, and so got into real estate. I'm not going to lie, first 6 months were really tough. First sale was my best friend Jordan Brown, which was so funny. And then funny story about that is honestly, I just met up with him. I was like, "Hey man, can I practice a buyer consultation with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, you can practice with me." And then while going through that consultation, he was like, "Hey, actually, I might think I want to buy a house." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet, I'm that good." So he bought a house 6 months later after getting my license, and it's all uphill from there.
Nice. It's always funny, like, and I obviously run a team, and I always tell my agents too, I'm like, one of the first things you should do is reach out to your friends and family and just say you want to practice on them because,
Yep.
for one, it lets them know you're in real estate, but it's also like takes away the salesy pitch of it, because now it's
Yep.
not just like they're helping you like learn a little bit, or get a little bit better when it comes to real estate. So, kind of take me through like your beginning stages. So obviously you talked about 6 months, took you about first 6 months to get your first sale, but obviously a lot of new agents might be watching this podcast and they're looking at, okay, what should I do when I first get into real estate to start creating success? So, what were some of your main lead sources that you went after as a brand new real estate agent into the industry?
Yeah, so I did a lot of the same things that I did while I was in a heavy metal band. We did a ton of videos. We went to new cities and we found people that looked like us. And then I added them on Facebook and then messaged them and was like, "Hey, we have a show tonight at the Handlebar in Pensacola, Florida. Was wondering if you might be interested in coming out and taking a listen into our music, right?" And so I would actually do the same thing in real estate where I would find people in our area and then I would just sporadically message them, and then at the same time I would actually make videos. And it's so funny, when I first got into real estate, some of the first videos were hilarious. Like, I was wearing a pimp suit, I was jumping on top of a chicken coop, I was making super funny videos. But to be honest, I was attracting like the, I hate to say it, but like some of the hardest clients to work with, right? And so I started narrowing my craft, getting better with my videos, creating better hooks in my videos, and then also just building more credibility. When I started working with more clients, other people saw that I was actually able to sell houses, and just wasn't this band guy that was playing heavy metal. Um, and then, yeah,
Nice. Nice. Awesome. And so, and how long have you been in real estate again?
9 years.
9 years. Okay, awesome. Now, over those 9 years, I know for me and my business, my kind of business has evolved, and what I was doing when I first got into real estate has kind of like expanded, and changed over the course of my career as well too. Like, what are some of your main lead sources now? Obviously, you messaged people when you first got into real estate, but over those 9 years, how did your business kind of evolve from there?
Yeah, so when it comes to lead generating now, I do something called the 2 hour protocol. It's 2 hours of activities that I've created, and I do it literally about 3 to 4 times a week. And within the last probably month and a no, I'm sorry, 2 months, I've had 11 closings that are directly attributed to the 2 hour protocol. And we could talk about that. And then also Facebook groups, which have to do with the 2 hour protocol as well. I've sold over 75 million just from Facebook groups. And so I've gotten a lot of, and that's just directly from Facebook groups. So creating an environment of credibility so that I'm the authority figure within that ecosystem. And so basically, I consistently I have a schedule of what I talk about every single day, and I'm at the point where I have an assistant that actually posts for me, right? And so it creates engaging posts every single day, and as me, and so like Monday motivation, Tuesday business, sharing your business Tuesday. So I've got a whole content calendar, right? And then, um, and then also one thing really important that I always tell agents is having an ecosystem that you can put your clients in so that they're constantly hearing from you. And my way of doing that is Facebook groups plus newsletters.
Mhm.
And because the thing is they're not in your ecosystem, they're in someone else's ecosystem. And so that's just one thing that's really important for agents is consistently being in front of your audience, because they're not necessarily that lead that you're going to close. It's the people that they know, right? And so the reason why I stay in front of them is like I'm not actually thinking about them as the closed deal. I'm thinking about their friends, their family, the people that are within their ecosystem as well.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, referrals are so important in this industry, and even people that you haven't necessarily helped as far as clients can still refer business to you just from knowing you and stuff like that. So as far as the groups then, are these groups that like you own, like, like a living in a specific city, or are they like other Facebook groups that you just belong to that you're posting in?
So they're a little bit of both, but the major ones are the ones that I own, right? Because I have complete control over them. I can do special things like changing my name badge that's on that Facebook group. So every time I post, I'm the expert in real estate that it shows up on, as well as I can do at everyone. So every time I make a post that's important, it will notify everyone that's within that Facebook group. And then I can schedule posts. I can decline other agents that might be my competitors as well. And so, yeah.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, it's I think that's something that's super powerful. I was actually just on a meeting today that someone else was talking about the exact same thing, posting in Facebook groups and the success they were having as well too. And I think it's highly beneficial because getting people in your ecosystem, and then when every time you post, everyone's going to see it, and especially if you're like kind of that community expert, that definitely has huge impact. So, tell me a little more. I know you kind of talked briefly mentioned it, but the 2 hour protocol. Tell me a little more about like what that entails. Like what is I guess what is I've never heard of that before. So what is the 2 hour protocol?
So 2 hour protocol is basically just activities that I do every single day. Honestly, it's about 3 to 4 times a week that
Mm,
I do them. And so let me see here. I got it right here, and I'm sort of going off script right now. But basically, the first activities is a group of activities that is reset and refocus. And so that's basically analyzing where I'm at with my business. So writing down my income goals, literally 3 to 4 times a week, and then also I list 3 actions that I've been avoiding. And
mm,
so it's funny because it's like, man, I just did this yesterday, but new things come up, right?
mm,
Uh, and then and then I ask myself, who am I missing, like in my pipeline? And I'm just intentional. And that's like 10 minutes, right? That's
mm,
10 minutes. And then the next 30 minutes is creating content that converts. And one thing that Mike always says, Mike Sherrard, which is in the Wolfpack, which is one of our partners, he always says done is better than perfect. So I'll literally get my phone and I'll just make something, right? Something that converts, right? And so I'll film a short 30 to 60-second video. It's something, and I put it out there. And then I post it to Instagram, to Facebook, and then I'll personally message that video to people, right? And I'll say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Here's a video that I created today, right? And then and that goes into the next thing, which is inbox, because our inbox is actually a gold mine, right? And so
Mhm.
I'll literally text people, I'll DM people, I'll send 5 personalized voice memos, and then also I'll send to people in my sphere like, hey, I was just checking in. How are you doing? And then also local network activation. So that means that I'm literally sending out referrals. Like I've got a good friend, his name's Aaron Shelton, and he's a handyman, right? And
Mhm.
so I'll send his contact info to random people in my phone and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. This is a really good handyman. And hopefully, if you ever need one, he's a great option. And it's just a piece of value that I send out. And then when they do reach out to Aaron, Aaron thinks of me as that referral. And then also those people think of me because I actually gave out a good referral, right? And so these are activities. It's about 2 hours of activities that I do that create and generate genuine leads for me. And I believe in something called the law of reciprocity, where I give, I give, I give, I plant seeds, I plant seeds, I plant seeds without expectation, actually. So I'm not actually expecting anything back, but I just know that things always do come back, and they always do, and that's why I've been able to sell so many houses.
Yeah, I love that because, like you're almost kind of like selling someone else without selling yourself, but you're just kind of reminding people that you're there and, obviously providing some value to someone else. And, again, and it's such a simple task too, right? Sending out like a card of a handyman, takes like what, seconds to do like to 5 different people, it's like super simple and super quick, but that activity alone can have such a huge impact on your business too, which is absolutely amazing. So, I don't know if you're ready to talk about this, but I know we right before this we start this podcast. One of the things you were talking about was that you're getting ready to write a book, or is already in the process of writing a book. So tell me a little bit more about like what that like I guess what made you decide to start writing a book, and then like what is that book about? I guess.
Yeah, so as of now, the title is Care More, Win More. And I just believe that the agent that cares more wins more. And so when it comes to caring for clients, I remember being in a consultation, it was a listing consultation back when I first got into real estate. And a billionaire, I had a conversation with a billionaire, and he told me, John, I know that you may not know every single thing about what you're doing, but you do have incredible intentions. So if you anchor your confidence within your intentions, you're way more likely to get the business, right? And so for me, I anchor my confidence within how much I care for my clients. And I remember specifically being at a listing appointment, and they said, hey John, you know what, we've already interviewed a few other agents, and to be honest, the other agents had so much more experience than you. They actually know more about our neighborhood than you do, but there's just something about you that tells us that if you don't know something, you're going to go and find it quickly. And as well as you genuinely care about us and our family, the fact that you know our kids' birthdays, the fact that you know where I work, and the things about the things about our lives. And so, hey John, since you don't have that much experience, I mean, even though you don't have that much experience, we're still going to hire you. And then a light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what? If I just anchor my confidence within the amount that I care for my clients, and then within the book, it's basically a playbook. It talks about Facebook groups. It talks about building your ecosystem. It talks about cultivating authentic relationships every single day, which is an acronym for CARE.
Mhm.
And then it goes over everything. I mean, I even go over, I've been able to flip a ton of properties as well. And so it goes over the flip strategies, investing strategies. It goes over conversational skills as well. How do we build rapport with our clients? It's just a playbook for real estate agents. And I think it's really going to help out a lot of agents.
Yeah, and I love that too, the care more, win more, because most agents, when they get into real estate, they overthink it and think that, because they don't have that much experience, they can't have a ton of success. And they're always
Yeah.
so nervous, meaning to people be like, oh, I've never sold a home before. How am I going to, sell myself and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, most people just want to work with the agent that actually cares about them and will work hard for them. And it's not about knowing everything, but it's about knowing where to go to get the information that you need. And as long as you do that, you're typically going to be in a pretty good spot, even as a brand new real estate agent as well too. So I know you briefly started talking a little bit about our own mentor Mike Chard over at the Wolfpack. I don't know, how long have you been? I know we're both partners over at EXP right now with the Wolfpack, but how long have you been with the Wolfpack? And then I love the idea. We talked about this before we got on camera. But it was a unique journey, I guess, in order to kind of move over to EXP. So kind of talk a little about like what made you decide to move to EXP, join the Wolfpack, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I've been about part of the Wolfpack for about 2.5 years now, going on 3 years. And it's absolutely changed my life. And the cool thing about it is that the environment of collaboration is at a level I've never seen before. And on top of that, there is so much value when it comes to leverageable value. And so, what does that mean? It means that we have things like the Social Agent Academy, that is one of the top, if not the best, social agent training platforms for agents that we get completely free. Um, in addition to the online platforms like our school trainings, in addition to our in-person events, in addition to all of the trainings that us as agents have been able to put together as well, that are like the things that I talk about, the book, the Facebook groups, all of the YouTube training as well. It's just so amazing to be a part of an environment where we're all genuinely working together and we're all genuinely wanting each other to succeed. Because I've been a part of brokerages where everyone has closed fists and everyone does not want the other person to succeed. And a little bit about my story. I actually wanted to start my own brokerage. I was a part of a small boutique brokerage with about 120, 130 agents. And I was teaching agents, training agents, helping agents succeed. But full transparency, I wasn't really getting anything out of it. Um, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start a brokerage. And then I did some research and I found out that the amount of overhead, the amount of liability, the amount of headache, accounting, CRMs I needed to purchase for agents, that even though 15% of agents actually close a deal every single month. And so I just realized, you know what, it might be smarter to explore an opportunity that an amazing guy, his name's Suman Kim, reached out to me and said, hey, John, I know you've been thinking about starting a brokerage. How about you team up with me and we can collaborate and build a massive organization? I was like, you know what? After thinking about it, after doing research, I thought it was an incredible experience. And now, me myself, I have over 160 agents, and we're climbing. But as the Wolfpack as a whole, nationally, I think we have over 3,000 agents, which is incredible. So yeah, it was just uh, an educated decision, and I didn't make it overnight. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah, I always feel like the progression, like people think the natural progression for a real estate agent is become a real estate agent, then maybe you start a team, then maybe you open your own brokerage, but I mean there's just so many, like, and I've had a lot of people ask me in the past, like, hey, why aren't you your own broker now and stuff like that. I'm like, man, there's a lot of liability in that. I'm like, there's a lot of headaches. I'm like, so it's so much easier just to leverage and partner with people who basically give these really the same thing, right? You kind of owning a brokerage with it, within the EXP system. Just the only difference is you don't have to deal with all the financial overhead and headache and stuff like that as well too. So awesome. So if someone wanted to contact you because they want to look at what a partnership opportunity looks like with you and with EXP with the Wolfpack, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Go follow me on Instagram at John Michael Perez. I share a ton of value. I've got that 2 hour protocol on a PDF as well. And then I also have a free community called Agent Protocol, completely free. We have tons of trainings as well on top of the Social Agent Academy. If you were to decide to partner with Scott and myself, we'd love to partner up with anybody that wants to reach out to us. But yeah, Instagram is the best place to reach out to me. I answer fairly quickly unless I'm with a client. Would love to be an extra resource.
Nice, awesome, and just so you guys know too, I am gonna put John's contact information below this video. Also put a calendar link for myself. If you do schedule a Zoom meeting via calendar link, please let me know that you watched this video. So because there are a lot of cool co-sponsorship opportunities as well within EXP, a lot of cool systems and stuff like that too. So again, if you guys want to get a hold of John, he's got a lot of cool coaching, training, and mentorship, but. John, I appreciate you hopping on today on this podcast, and hopefully you guys took a little bit of information. So thanks again, John.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, bye, guys.